this new product comes from 10 years of involvement, because next year will be the 10 years that Winback has been created. And so because of all this experience that we have accomplished, we could be able to have that kind of new product. So we listen to the clients, and then all the different things that we could improve, or the ideas that you could have, we try to put it into the Back4. So when we started to imagine the Back4, we started with two observations. The first one is, when you work in TK therapy, whatever the device, Back1, Back3, or the competitors, it's always the same. You only have one electrode, one return plate, but your second hand, you can't use it. So what we say to the engineers, okay, let's find a solution to work with our two hands, because this is what we do every day. We work with our two hands. The second observation is about the definition of the TK. You know, TK is transfer energy, capacitive and resistive, but nobody is able to work with capacitive and resistive at the same time. It's always capacitive or resistive. So that's the second observation. We told them, okay, find a solution to work with the capacitive and the resistive to fit to the real definition of the TK. So the solution was, okay, we can do that if we have two channels. So this is what we have with the Back4. We have two independent channels. So that means I can work with the capacitive and the resistive at the same time, or I can work with two capacitive or two resistive at the same time. So you will be really more efficient, faster also, because you can cover a larger area. Let's say you want to work on the low back. Okay, you work with your two hands, with the CT or the RET. So that's why you can gain on time with the Back4 compared to the Back1, Back3. You can reduce the time of treatments because of this, because you have these two stimulation at the same time. So this is the time frame. We started with we launched the Back3 color in 2018, and you know everything about this product. So you have different modes. You have the fixed pad, the multiple electrodes, the bracelets. So for sure, we have it also for the in the Back4. Then after that, we launched another product. We call it Winback. It's a cryo contrast product. But what is the specificity of this product is that inside we have also an electrode stimulation that we can have in plus of the cryothermal stimulation. And we're using the medium frequency current to accelerate the drainage and to recruit the muscles. And so that's why we put this current into the Back4 to accelerate the drainage or to recruit the muscles, to increase the effect on the muscles. Then the third current that we put into the Back4 comes from the high tense product. So this product is the portable version. So inside you have the 300 kilohertz, so it's the TK current that you know. But in plus, we have the low frequencies current. So it's a high frequency current pulsated in low frequencies. So that means we have the properties that we already explained this morning, plus the low frequency current. So low frequency current, if you remember, is for the pain management, endorphinic effect or the tense effect. But because it's a high frequency current pulsated in low frequency, we have the two properties from the high and from the low. So that's why we call it high tense, because we have a higher effects compared to the tense that you all know. And then we put this specific current inside the Back4. So now we have the takeout current, we have the low frequency current for the pain management, and also the medium frequency current for the muscle recruitment. So we put a lot of innovation into this new product. We have 4 generators, so it's the most powerful device on the market now. 4 generators inside the Back4. 3 different currents, takeout, high tense, and high EMS. So that I just described. We have a specific patent for this power in. So the power in is a calculator inside the machine. It calculates the impedance. So that means, you know, when we use the Back1 or the Back3, when you work with your 2 electrodes, if you are close to the distance is close, you put 40%. If you put your electrodes a little bit far away, you need to compensate the distance. You need to increase the intensity. Right here with this, because we have this calculator, it will calculate automatically that you are increasing the distance, so the power will be adjusted exactly to the distance. But it's the same about the resistance of the tissues, because during your treatment you change the resistance because you break down the resistance. So the Back4 will adjust automatically the power to deliver the right power on the patient, because you don't need a lot of power if you reduce the resistance. Otherwise, if you do, you change the position of your electrodes, now you are in front of a bone, let's say, so the resistance is higher, the power is higher. So you are more efficient and safer. More efficient because if you need more power, you don't need to change the intensity, but the machine will do it for you. And also, if you are in front of a light surface, light impedance, in that case, it will adjust the power to be sure that you won't overstimulate your patient. We have a Wi-Fi connection. So Wi-Fi connection means we can do some updates. It's really easy to do the updates. For example, we launched this product since 6 months. We already did 3 major updates because we listened to the clients and they said, "Oh, I don't understand why you call it neutral or not another word." So we can change, we can adjust the interface. That's really easy. Also, when we launched the product, the intensity was maybe a little bit too low compared to what we have with the Back3. So all the people were complaining and say, "Okay, but when I put 40%, I don't feel so hot compared to what I have." Okay, we can do an update and adjust the intensity. You can find we can find the solution. So just to explain you that, for sure we will update the interface. We will update the machine very frequently. But it's like on the smartphone, you have a notification, you download the update, and then you have a new machine. Also, the Wi-Fi is good because if you have any troubleshooting, you can call the R&D and say, "Okay, I don't know why, but it's not working anymore. I had a crash at 2 p.m. Okay, we can have access by the Wi-Fi on your unit. We see your datas, and we can see, okay, at 2 p.m. we can see that you were using the CET at 40%, and then we can tell you that the problem is coming from the cable. It's not from the unit. So we just ship the cable, or not we don't need to ship the unit. So that's also something which is good because you can still work with your machine if it's only to replace one accessory. So that's the good thing with this Wi-Fi. So for sure we still have the bracelets, but the difference is because we have 2 channels, it's two independent channels, two independent bracelets. So what I explained you this morning, I told you, okay, we have this splitter, so you need to increase the intensity because you divide the energy on these two bracelets. That's no more like this. You have 40% in one hand, 40% on the other hand. You remove one hand, you still have 40%, because it's totally independent. I will invite you to try the device after that. You will see, for those who are familiar with the bracelets, it's really more comfortable compared to the other versions. Also because we have this calculator. So it calculates that it's your forearm, so it calculates that it has to pass through your wrist, so it will transfer the good power on the patient. So that's why it's really more comfortable, and you feel that it's really instant. When you touch your patient, you feel the warm effect just under your fingers, and that's all. You don't need to push a lot the intensities. I know you already tried it, so you can say it, that I'm not a liar. Also, you see we changed the hand probe, so it's a nice design, but it's not only this. Now it's a generic hand probe, so that means this is the CT. If you change for the RT, you have the RT. And you see you don't need to screw. It's really easier to change the electrodes faster, because you just need to unplug the electrode. On this fix. Yes, because it's like you have on the, I didn't speak about it, but when you have the bracelet, you know, you can increase or decrease the intensity just by tapping on your patient. You can do exactly the same here. 20%. And then you do 2 times. 30%. 2 times. 20%. So you can increase or decrease the intensity directly with the. This is your remote control now, because when you work with the RET, we have these other frequencies that we can have, the high 10s, the high EMS. So you can decide to activate or deactivate the modes just with your electrode. So this is how you can control. You can still do it on the interface, but when you're with your patient, it could be easier to activate or deactivate the modes. Yeah, it's a video, so I don't know why it's not working, but we will skip the video if you want. Yes. Okay. So, because we have these 2 electrodes plus the written plate, you can do your treatments faster, more efficient, more precise, and make it easier. Because now we can treat up to 3 body zones, because we can treat with 2 resistive, like on the photo, plus the written plate. Okay, so imagine like a triangle. You stimulate from the 2 entry points, finishing on one written plate. So that's why it's faster, because you have this triangle stimulation. There is also a new thing is that you can use 2 capacitive without the written plate. So I explained you this morning, okay, when you want to work with the CT, you need to put the return plate, but it's always the same, where do I put this return plate, which is only to close the circuit. And most of the time you say, okay, okay, just install you like this, and then, but you need to stay on the table. You need to think about what is the position that I need to close the circuit, then I will use the CT. Right here, like on this photo, for example, you can use your 2 CT. Your patient can be seated. You want to relax the trapezius? Okay, go on, directly. So you don't need to think about the position. Install your patient as you want to treat him, and then use your 2 CT, and you have 2 CT, so that's also more comfortable for your patients that only one hand, which is hot, on the other hand is just here to accompany. So that's something which is patented. Only the Back4, only Winback can do that. 2 CT without the return plate. And as I told you, we can work up to 3 body zones. So we can be really more efficient because we have different way to use the resistive electrodes. We can work, so we call it in chain like this, because I have 1 plus the second signal finishing on the ground plate. Okay, so that's why we say it's like a chain, and it's an accumulation of the different currents. Or we can work in triangle. In that case, I have 2 entry points finishing on the ground plate. So now it depends of also what you want. If you want to focus the energy on to have a very strong effect, in that case, use the triangle. If you want to accumulate the energy, let's say you have like a sciatica, you put the return plate on the calf, you use the first RT on the exit to stimulate the plexus, and then your second electrode will follow the nerve. So that's how you can be more efficient. You can be also faster in your treatments because you cover all the areas. And also we have this multi-frequencies current. So we have the take-out current that you already know, but we also have the combination with the high tense. So for the pain management, you can have a orthophonic current plus the take-out, or you can have the tense current, high tense current for the immediate acute pain plus the take-out. You can decide to use take-out plus high EMS, so electromyostimulation. That's the good draw, because here you have the contraction, but coming from the electromyostimulation. So you will target these deep muscles, which are really hard to treat. You know, it's always the key, the deep muscles, like the psoas. We know that we need to treat the psoas, but we all have the same problems to have an access to these psoas, the solear. So all these deep muscles which are involved into the chronic conditions. We know that they are the keys, but if you want to go there, you need to press, and then your patient doesn't want to let you go inside. So with this, because it's a medium frequency, so it's the specific current that could attract, that could stimulate these deep muscles. So you will target these deep muscles with the RET, and you will keep the energy on the deep muscles. So that's one of the options that we have with this high EMS. We have another frequency which is more superficial, and you can have an access to the muscle chains. So you can stimulate different muscles, and you know that with the RET, the idea is to create this, to stimulate the muscle chain. So imagine that you have your RET on your return plate, you have a deep vascularization, plus the muscle chain, so you have you're pumping on the muscles to accelerate mechanically the vascularization. So that's how we can increase the drainage faster. It's really fast with the Back 1 or the Back 3, but it can be faster because we add this muscle stimulation. And you can use the 3 different currents at the same time. So coming from the this electrode, finishing on the ground plate. So this is also patented, the fact that we can stimulate with 3 different currents at the same time with only one generator, one unit. It's patented. So you can do pain management, muscle recruitment, plus the TCAR in once. So that's just to explain you how it works with the 2 RT finishing on the ground plate or muscle chain. So you see, that's why we draw a larger line, because you accumulate the energy from the first signal finishing on the ground plate and then second signal. So that's why you accumulate the energy at the end. Oops. So you see, we changed the interface. It's totally different from what you know. It's like a mixing table, like on the DJ. That's the image that we wanted to have, because you can play with the frequencies, you can play with the intensities. So that's the idea with this interface, to make it easy and also to make it fun. So you have the CET, you have the RT, and then you can see we have the high dense on the high EMS. Okay, so okay, I explained you that. So there is something new also, the bracelets, because it's independent. So as you can see on this photo, you can put the bracelet on the patient. What is new also is now we have this return plate. So we still have the large one, but when you want to work in with the upper limbs, you can hold the return plate in your hand. Okay, so you are more free to do some exercises, to do some mobilization. Each time you want to work on the upper limb, you can use this one. You see, we have a ring right here. It's because you can put some elastic band. Imagine that you have like a tennis elbow. You close the circuit with the fixed pad, like this one, or you put the bracelet and then you put the resistance, and then you can do some eccentric exercises. But what is really new is that you can put the bracelet on your patient. You close the circuit with the hand probe, and then the therapist can have a bracelet on him, because it's independent. So you close the circuit, but with the second bracelet, you can spot different points to release the tensions or to help to do some mobilization on the wrist, for example. So that's why, again, you are really more efficient and quicker, because you accumulate this, all these properties, all this energy on different points. So the question is, are you TCAR or TCAR? So TCAR, because it's transfer energy capacitive or resistive, so what you know, and the TCAR is the new way to treat the real TCAR, capacitive and resistive at the same time. So you can still work, because I still work with only one electrode on the one return plate. Sometimes it's enough, so I do the capacitive, and sometimes I do the resistive. But sometimes I can also use the capacitive and the resistive at the same time. The best example is for the sciatica. You put the resistive, you put your return plate, and then with the capacitive, you work all around the chain. You release locally the tensions, but you have the pain management to stimulate the nerve. Okay. Another example is muscle injury. you have a muscle injury, you put your resistive return plate, so you cover the injury, so you will drain deeply with the resistive, but with your capacitive, you can stimulate locally the injury to accelerate the healing process. So you see, there are a lot of combinations. So I know that you may say, okay, but with my Back4, I have the swap. So the swap option is when you can alternate CET, then RET, so you can do almost the same montage, but it's always alternatively CET and RET. And also the difference is because we accumulate the energy. If you use the RET but you put the CET between the RET and the neutral plate, you will increase the effect of your CET. So that's the big difference between the swap, which is CET, then RET, then CET. Right here it's at the same time, but the big difference is that your CET is wider because you accumulate energy coming from the RET. So that's also why you are more efficient. Okay. So yes, you can still work with only one capacitive, one RET with the neutral plate. You can work with the capacitive on the or two resistive, which is still a take-on because you have the only capacitive or only resistive, and then this is new. This is where you can do the real take-on, capacitive and resistive. So I make it pretty quick, but so I told you we automatically adapt the power because you have this calculator. Now we have 11 electrodes, so plus the two which are here. There is a new electrode, this one. So this electrode, you will see, you will come closer after, but on this electrode you have, each point is an electrode. So here you have 11 spots, 11 electrodes, 100 electrodes concentrated in 1 square centimeter. So imagine that you transfer the energy but with 100 electrodes. So you can target the tissues, increase very fast the temperature, or if you're using you want to use it in pain management, you will stimulate the nociceptor and you will saturate the nociceptors with this message. It's like if you do something like that, what is your reflex is just to do that. Why? It's just because you want to stimulate the nociceptors just to change the information in your brain. When you do that, you block the signal just because you have this friction. That's exactly the same. We multiply the stimulation plus the low frequency current plus the high frequency current. So we bombard the sensors with a lot of stimuli just to shut down the signal. So that's why we designed this specific electrode. So we have an automatic accessory recognition. So that means if you connect the bracelet, it will switch off automatically the two other currents, the high EMS, the electromyostimulation, or the high tense, because I don't want to feel this stimulation. So automatically it switch off. It's the same when you connect the fixed pad. Even you have selected, let's say, 90% in red, you were working with your electrode, your mobile electrode, 90%, and then you have other currents connected. You connect the fixed pad, automatically it will reduce to 40% and the low pulse will be activated. That's a safety. You can unselect if you want, but to make sure that you won't have any issues, we prefer to set it up to 40% low, and then you do what you want if you want to to unlock this security. So I told you we can control also with the, so we call it the TK X, this control. And also inside the machine, you will have the guide, like a training book inside the machine. So you won't be lost, because you can find the information if you need to find a protocol or so that's something we can also improve, because we can, for the moment, there are just a few protocols, but with the updates, we could increase the number of protocols, we can increase all the informations. Okay. And we will launch new accessories after that, also with different packs, because for the moment, for those who do some aesthetic treatments, we have these 2 electrodes, but we will double. You could, for those who do the aesthetic, you can add, you can buy a second electrode to do some treatments with your 2 electrodes at the same time, because that's not all the physio who are doing aesthetic treatments, but for those who want, that's possible to add a second electrode to do some both ends treatments on the face or for the cellulitis. We have also the pelvic floor accessories, fascia tools, so a lot of things are coming. And also, that will be possible to customize the interface, because we have this Wi-Fi. So if you have a specific logo for your clinic, that's something that we can do also. You just ask to the R&D, you send your logo, and then they can put it on your own machine with your logo. So that's an option, but that's something that we can do just to personalize your machine. So you see there's a lot of possibilities with this product.